Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Oh my God, what a week this day has been already. Welcome to the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Of course, if you're walking. Welcome to the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Of course, if you're watching on Strangerhood TV on YouTube, welcome to the top 20. We've made it to September 4th, 2025. I am flush with technical difficulties this morning. Give it up for me. I don't know why I keep insisting on trying to figure this whole situation out about like 15 minutes before the show goes on. It's not like I don't have a week to get around to doing it. I got the new camera. I did some new settings, so it's not going to be as choppy. If you watch this week's top 20, you'll see it's very choppy and very audio problem basic, but like, cause it just doesn't match up a few times. And I think that was a frame rate issue. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't have any idea what I seem to be doing. And it's not that I can't figure it out. I just am devoting absolutely no time to figuring it out, which, if you know me, is pretty much par for the course. But here we are. How is everybody doing? It looks beautiful outside. The fact that we have trolled out of August and into September in like the high 70s, low 80s, and it just beautiful weather here in the Northeast almost makes up for the absolute abysmal weather we've had the rest of the year. But that's enough about weather chats. Let's get on to whatever it's going to be about. Now, I did have some things I did want to talk about. Oh, by the way, there's a brand new top 20 out. For the life of me, I can't remember what it is. I don't get my notes anymore, so I honestly have no idea. If you want to know what the top 20 is, you should probably just go and look. And if you're watching this, it's probably going to be the next thing in the feed, but it's also probably too late at that point. Looking at the chat. Oh, am I not on? Can you... Oh, no. Wait, am I not broadcasting? I thought I was broadcasting. Am I not broadcasting? Can you not hear me? Hang on. Okay. Hold on. Can you not hear me? Let's see. Looking at the chat. Everything looks normal. Nope. Can you hear anything? Can you hear anything? Let me... Hold on. We'll do this again. Alright, let me stop this. I'll stop the recording, and then I'll start the recording again. Okay, starting again. Okay. How about now? This is so much fun, isn't it? Just trying to figure out why nothing ever works here. Alright, starting again, checking with the chat to see if it's playing. I guess I can check myself. Please hold on. Please stand by. Let's see. Let's go to WNRR. RRRR. Got you. Oh, I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Hold on. I am back. I swear to all that is holy, I have no idea how any of this show ever works. What I was saying is it's a new top 20. Good luck with that. That's about all I was saying. Good night, everybody. Okay, cool. I'm back. Yeah. Okay. It's amazing how quickly the train of thought just leaves the station. Let me see what's going on here. No, everything... Oh, good. I'm back. Okay, cool. I have multiple confirmations that I am back. Thank you, everybody, for your patience and waiting for me to come back, even though technically I never left. And maybe in Schrodinger's world, I was also gone and here at the same time. Yeah, a little quantum mechanics humor for you nerds out there. I was actually recently told on a Facebook comment by, like, probably one of my oldest friends that basically I'm not smart enough to understand the world around me. And I literally laughed out loud. I was like, no, man, I can't understand this world at all. But that's just because I'm too lazy to figure it out. But like socio-political and economic stuff, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm generally speaking not going to be dumber than people who are going to be arguing with me. But like every now and then I do meet somebody smarter than me and teaches me something. It's never been from the far right. I can tell you that right now. I think one of the funniest things I had seen this week was a tweet that was memeified, was going around. And it was basically just saying that, like, isn't it amazing that we as a society recognize that Donald Trump hasn't violated the Constitution in 3 to 5 days, so naturally we think he's dead? Like, it's just so funny to me. It's just, oh my goodness, that's so funny to me. But yeah, let's talk about things going on in the world. It's kind of fun. Like, it looks like Trump's health is failing again, which is fantastic. I mean, I really do wish that bag of shit would just die at this point. And I don't usually wish that of the President of the United States or the free world, but the amount of damage this dude has been doing in the 8 months plus that he's been in office is really just, it's recoiling. Like, it's so disgusting. And his absolute little mini-me, J.D. Vance, is just so much worse. Like, they're all just horrible. And the fact that Trump still has a 90% approval rating among Republicans, it just tells you really everything you need to know. And it's not that they're all stupid. I mean, the MAGA movement, they're stupid. Like, they're borderline retarded. Actually, when I say they're borderline retarded, I mean they're on the other side. They're on the border maybe of becoming non-retarded, but probably not. But most of the MAGA sphere are pretty much retarded in thought. I don't know if they're medically retarded. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of those people out there. And I mean retarded in the truest sense. Like, not mentally disabled. MAGA's definitely mentally disabled, too. But, like, just the nonsense they're spewing and the way they carry themselves is just bananas. I mean, it's just so funny to me. But the other of that 90% that still approve of what Trump is doing, like, make no mistake, it's like they understand what he's doing and they like what he's doing. A lot of them, if you hear and you see people that talk to him or talk to them yourselves, I mean, they really are super mad about all this imagined depression that they think that they were under. I mean, the simple fact that these people still talk about, like, personal freedom that was violated by, like, having to wear a mask. I mean, as much as I was against the mandated vaccines, like, I do understand the balance between public health emergencies and personal freedom. Our country has balanced with that for years. Like, and I think it's a judgment call, and we can only hope to have the smartest people, the best and the brightest, making those judgments. But it's not absolute. Like, personal freedom, your personal freedom does not trump a public, health hazard. It never does. It never has, and it never should. But these people just feel so violated by this oppression, and they're talking to me about how all we have is, like, personal freedom now because of Trump. And I have to point out, like, even the simplest basic cases, like, you can't even get a COVID vaccine right now if you don't qualify for it. Like I don't want one, so it's not really my bag. Like, I don't really care. But the hypocrisy of it is just bananas. Like, your personal freedom was violated because you had to get... By the way, you didn't have to do anything. Some of the public institutions, like government jobs, like being a teacher or being a police officer, they required you to get the COVID vaccination to do it. But you didn't have to do it, right? Like, you could have left that job. That's personal freedom, too. You know what I mean? It's not like they did the forced sterilization that they did to African Americans in the South, right? Like, that wasn't really personal freedom. But the fact that, like, I can't just walk into CVS and get one in every state in the country, like, that's a personal freedom violation, and there is no way around it. Like, there isn't. Plus, like, the abolition of basically trans medical care. Like, that's personal freedom. Somebody wants to transition because they think that that's right for them. They should have the personal freedom to do that. And they absolutely cannot do that in most states. And it's becoming even more states as the federal funding, like, just basically wipes it out, right? So, I mean, it's not even like you can pay for it privately either. Like, these states, like, they just simply don't allow you to have any trans medical care. And so you have to go to another state, which I guess is a way around that. But, I mean, I think that's a much harder thing. But I digress. Like, just the nonsense on the right is just ridiculous. But make no mistake, like, a lot of the Republicans that aren't MAGA that are still approving of the Trump, nonsense, are basically because he's a bully, and he's bullying the people that they feel they were bullied by over the Biden administration, right? And that's their logic. And if you walk that logic through, you can understand like why they are doing. Like, they love owning the libtards. They think that is the best thing ever, and just cracking down on the liberal and blue city. Like, they love that. That's why they approve of it. Like, these people in Shreveport, Louisiana, who have a higher crime rate, a higher major crime rate than Washington, D.C., think it's just brilliant that they're, Mike Johnson, that's Mike Johnson's district. He thinks it's brilliant that they deployed national troops into Washington, D.C. and are about to do it again in Chicago, despite the fact that a federal judge already said it was a legal overstep when they deployed federal National Guard troops to Los Angeles, right? But they think it's great, even though the argument is that there's too much crime, but Shreveport has too much crime, more crime than Chicago and Washington, D.C. per capita. But, like, it's not about that. It's about teaching these blue states, these blue cities, and these liberals a lesson. And that's what they like to do. And I will tell you, people like me that venture towards the middle, I'm starting to really come around. Like, I am not a huge fan of Gavin Newsom, but I got to tell you, I am a huge fan of the attack he is doing on the Trump administration, because it's that same mentality. And where I get conflicted is it has always bothered me when a better group of people decide to lower themselves to the playing field that's happening, because we should be better. I talked about that in terms of women and dating apps and like Tinder and stuff like that. Like, I always considered women to be better than men. Like, seriously, even when I was like in high school and guys were like counting women that they'd been with, like just numbers, like check marks on a bed, like that grosses me out. Like, that has always grossed me out. Like, I have never been comfortable with sex being a numbers game. I think it's disgusting, and that's just my personal opinion. I do try not to judge other people who want to live their lives, but me personally, I find that absolutely abhorrent and disgusting. So it bothers me when women's response to their sexual promiscuity is, well, guys do it, so like I'm going to get mine too. Like, that's the wrong answer. Like, if you're already better than us, stay better than us and force us to get up to that. And I feel like the Democrats have been doing that for the past 20 to 40 years, where it's like, let's just uphold the rule of law, and hopefully the Republicans or the other will rise to that level. But the reality is, that's not the case. And now with the extended gerrymandering and the extended political prosecution that the DOJ is doing, gerrymandering in Texas, and now Missouri has threatened to do it too, in other states, we're going to lose the ability to even affect political change anymore if we don't get into that sandbox and fight. And I think that it's really great that governors like Newsom and Pritzker in Illinois, and even Hochul a little bit is dipping her toe in to just sort of combat this nonsense, but we have to lower ourselves to do it. And that is why you're seeing stuff like polling showing Gavin Newsom getting a double-digit boost in his polling for an election that's like 3 years away, because they're starting to fight on those same terms. And I am completely fine with doing that in this case. I hope when we're done with that, we can rise out of the sewer that this is. But for right now, protecting stuff like our democracy and our personal freedoms that the right seems is so goddamn important, as long as they're theirs, I think it's worth the fight. And that's why you're going to see me start using language that's more offensive and more directed, because I keep saying that I've just had it with these people, but it seems like every week I find a new level of having it with these people. Like, they're just so absolutely disgusting and abhorrent and destructive, and everything is bad about the way they're thinking, the way they are proceeding. I mean, seriously, to punish people that think differently than you, to punish them because they think differently than you, is just, that's what bullies do, and that's what very small-minded people do, and that's what we're seeing across the country. So it's really time for people on the other side to be like, maybe this is just like, no, that's not going to happen anymore. Now it's like, you really do need to call out people for being stupid, for being morons, for being retarded, for being completely unintelligent and uninformed about anything at all, which is what most of these people are. And most importantly, You have to call people out for being bullies, bigots, racists, and just the general douchebags that people are when they're trying to punish other people that are different from them because they feel like they want to win some sort of fight. Like, that is just stupid, and that is not how this country works. If you want to have a physical fight, let's have a physical fight and just like be done with it. But stop destroying the country that I love in the process because you want to teach me a lesson. Like, go f*** yourself, f*** your mother, and everybody else that has ever taught you to be or think that way. You're disgusting, and we really don't need you. Which brings me to the greatest news of the week, in my opinion, which is the less than great state of Florida has decided to basically do away with their vaccine mandates for school-age children because, I don't know, their black head doctor in Florida, or whatever he is, the Surgeon General of Florida, came out and said that the vaccinations we're giving to kids to go to school is akin to slavery, which is just offensive on its front and just hilarious coming from an African American. Like, because no, it isn't. It is not even remotely close to slavery. So if you, by the way, also, if you ever hear anybody equate anything that's going on to a white person as akin to slavery, start laughing immediately, because it is the most ludicrous thing in the world. And it's exactly what you would expect when the whitewashing of the great whitewashing of the South's history about all the stuff that went on during slavery and the Civil Rights Movement and the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act and all that other stuff. Like, they just refuse to believe that any of this happened. And also, like, when you hear white people talk about how slavery was pretty good because we gave them a place to live and a job to do, like, the nonsense that comes out from white mouths about that is just bananas. And the fact that it's even coming out of an African American is just insane to me. But let me get to the good part. Because while I've been saying for about 20 years, I think there are too many. I think the vaccine schedule is too high on children. I really do. Especially the vaccine schedule before their 18-month birthday or whatever that is. Because it's just too much for a body to handle. And I agree that it's a panic thing, like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. Yeah, we got to do this, but we can do it a little bit better than that. And we were able to just sort of sidestep a lot of that. Yeah, you know, our kids got vaccinated, the things they absolutely needed to do, especially when they needed to go into sports. Like, I understand some of that, like tetanus, meningitis, like those kinds of things. Like, sure, these are actual risks. Measles, for sure, like that's an actual risk when you're in a public school setting. And you're balancing like the efficacy of a vaccine, and hopefully it's going to keep any major public health hazards at bay, but you can also do it kind of responsibly. You don't have to do it exactly how they say it. You just got to do your best and at least try. And you can do that if you understand how vaccines work and what the goal of the vaccines are. It's super simple. But while I agree there is way too busy of a vaccine schedule for kids going to school, I also agree that some of them are incredibly necessary because kids can get sick and do. Kids can get sick and die and do. And I think that is an important consideration. But what makes Florida so great is if they get rid of all these, a lot of those kids are going to die. And there's a lot of kids in Florida that also see old people, and a lot of those old people are going to die. And that means, if you're doing the math, we have a big potential here for a lot of Floridians to die. And I think that deserves a lot of this, because Florida has been definitely like swinging from my nuts from quite a long time here with their stupid ideas, and just the simple ass-kissing of DeSantis to Trump is just so embarrassing. Like, I would be so embarrassed if that were my governor. I'm embarrassed he's not even my governor. Like, the fact that a grown man cups that many balls on this old, fat president is just bananas. But let me center, because it's really good to consider the medical thing that this is going to be, because we're going to have a statewide testing case of real human beings to see what happens when you pull vaccines out of school. And I actually know what happens when you pull vaccines out of school. Why? Because we have studies from before there were vaccines in school. Like, there is history, and we don't have to whitewash all of it. So I personally am looking forward to all these people trying to figure out why their kids are sick all of a sudden, and why grandma just died because she went to, a birthday party, Timmy's birthday party, and he turned 5, and he went to kindergarten this year, and he got measles, mumps, and rubella because his parents didn't vaccinate him. Like, whew, I can't wait. I can't wait for so many reasons, mainly because I hate Florida, but also because old people are the biggest drain on the social safety net that there is, as are kids in Florida, because they use a lot of Medicaid. Yeah, right. If we can turn the population of Florida into the population of Wyoming in a generation, I think that's going to be a win. And I think that's something we can all stand with. Anyway, I'm exhausted. So, I'm actually exhausted from all of this, but I am really super exhausted from dealing with all this nonsense in the world. By the way, I cannot recommend enough, not last week's, but the week before, last week tonight with John Oliver, and he talks about the MAHA movement. That's Bobby Kennedy's absolute nonsense about Make America Healthy Again. And he really just sort of rips into some of these influencers and some of the conflict of interest that's going on. Maybe if I remember, I'll try and link it in the video. It is super educational, and the main story is probably about 15, 20 minutes. But he also really digs into that chick, the food babe, and I thought that was fascinating. And I know a lot of people do follow her. I could not recommend watching it and then getting a new perspective about what that chick is really about. Not to mention the Means, Casey Means, who's up to be Surgeon General, and her husband Carrie Means, who is just an awful person. Like, it's funny, like when you look at Bobby Kennedy Jr. and you're like, man, he's terrible, and then you look to his left and right, it's like, well, he's not even as terrible as these hats over here. Like, that, this is something to watch, because this is your health. Like, this is your health. Like, your life expectancy, your health expectancy could be dependent on what goes on in the next 3.5 years. You should at least know the characters. If you know all the characters from Game of Thrones and all the other shows that you watch, you should definitely know the characters that are running the Department of Health, or HHS, Health and Human Services, because that's Bobby Kennedy's department, and it is just a disaster. In case you missed it, a lot of the vaccine experts just walked out, and a lot of people have just been fired. We are heading towards another pandemic, and I personally cannot wait. I'm going to start with Craving Strange this week because I feel like Jimmy would appreciate that argument. Also, I haven't heard this song in a minute. Also, I've talked way too long. So let's just get some music going, and let's just roll it out and see what else pisses me off.